And we are
Those annoying vegans.
Oh yeah, we are.
How are you?
And I don't give a shit anymore.
Episode 3. She doesn't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck.
I think I've evolved over a very short period of 1 week.
That's what social media will do to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gosh, does it? First of all, I have to say, I apologize. Listening back on my last podcasts, I feel like I'm literally a mess of I don't know how to say what I want to say, and therefore I will just, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think I am a little more, I think it's there we go. There it goes again. So.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
In the last week.
You know, you learn really fast.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of the human mind. Those of us who choose to, that
Mm-hmm.
is. I've been watching a lot of new stuff online. I'm sort of widening my community of vegan supporters, animal lovers. Literally, here's what I did. I went and I know people are going to say, oh, this is so high school, but I got to do it. I went and defriended about 30, 40 people last week.
Yeah.
One in particular who happened to put up a very offensive post of like this giant meat dinner. And it wasn't, because I see those pictures all the time. It's nothing new, but it is.
Not to mention we both used to eat meat. We're not foreign
Absolutely.
to it.
But it is the insensitivity of the comment she posted along with it, and it was something to the extent of, I have it here actually, still recovering from last night's carnage.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Carnage. It's a very vivid word.
I'm seeing some ribs.
There's ribs. There's
like
roast.
Some pork chops,
it's
maybe.
Some sort of. Yeah, I mean, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 platters.
Is this chicken or?
I don't know, but it's all
or
meat.
That might be bones over there. I don't know. It's a big spread of blood and you know.
Yeah, and I just thought, you know what? I see this girl's posts too often to continue ignoring them. Everything that she posts is about a meat dish. There is never anything. And I mean, and she had her daughter like once trying squid, and she was like super proud of the fact that she liked squid but not chicken. And I'm like,
right.
You are like that again, my point. You are cheating your child out of knowledge and truth. She is too young to know where squid comes from or where chicken comes from.
She probably just doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
At that age, you just put it in their mouth or put it in their plate and say, it's good, isn't it? Yummy.
Yeah.
And the kid goes, yeah, it is yummy.
Mm-hmm.
And thus the disconnect begins at a young age.
Yep, at too young of an age, because our children are the answer to our world's problems. Guys don't get it. Just teach them well. Teach them well. Like, be honest with them. Yeah, people are so afraid of, can't expose them to too much. You don't have to tell them, oh, you know, that's chicken, and they kill chicken, and the chicken suffers and dies a horrible death. No, there are ways to tell a child, in very gentle ways to tell a child where these things come from. There is an appropriate age. But from a certain point until they reach that age where they can understand, I mean, you can sort of mold them a little bit at a time. When they're babies, toddlers, you can read to them about animals and how wonderful animals are. Later on, you know, start planting the seeds of knowledge.
Although we watched an interview, and we can tag it in the feed for you guys to check out. It was with Ruby Roth.
Mm-hmm.
She's the author of what's the book you have? It's like Why We Don't Eat Animals.
Why We Don't Eat Animals.
That's her first one.
And now she's also published a second one called. Let me double check here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's a vegan-based book. She wrote Why We Don't Eat Animals. It's a children's book. And she's the illustrator, too. looked at the cover, saw that. She does the illustrations. She tells the story, and it's a book for kids about not eating animals and just simply laying out, what's it called?
Vegan is love.
Oh, Vegan is Love.
Having
That's
heart
right.
and taking action.
So she wrote 2 children's books about taking care of animals and treating them as pets and, having the same love and affection for a chicken or a pig that you would for a dog or a cat. And I didn't see anything wrong with the illustrations. Nothing is too graphic. Everything is just what you would see in the grocery store,
Like
or
she
what you would
said.
see hanging in a whatever, like a butcher shop, or like in the meat department
Right.
of any place you would go to buy meat. And she was doing these interview rounds promoting her new book, Vegan is Love. And the newscaster in the clip that we'll share, the lady newscaster, she pointed out that, like, well, there's certain things that we don't want to expose our children to. And, like, why would you want to let your kids know that, like, meat is, used to be an animal and then you killed it and the animal has to die in order for you to eat it? It's sort of like,
Wow.
isn't that what it is,
'Cause
though?
that's the truth.
Like, why would you? Because I hear these arguments like there are adult conversations to be had around adults, and I agree with that. Maybe you don't talk to a 6-year-old about hardcore intercourse because they're not of age. But later on in life, they will become familiarized with sexual intercourse. They will engage in it. They will enjoy it. It's an adult topic that is not really shameful. It's more of just not really appropriate for a child of a certain age.
Right.
You could argue the same thing about drug use or alcohol use. Maybe the child doesn't understand. If you were the mother of the 9-year-old who took her daughter to go see Deadpool, for example, she might not understand all the drug references and sex references and all the stuff that he was talking about. And either if it's sex, that's something that every human being grows up to engage in and is a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Drug use
It can be a positive
can be. Drug use, I would argue, is a negative thing.
Yes.
And so we're shielding our children from it because it's negative. But we don't expect them to engage in a negative behavior. But in this case, we have a woman who's arguing for shielding the child from the negative of something that she is being encouraged to do.
Uh-huh.
Which is a very strange...
It's very strange. And speaking of drugs, like, going back, remembering when we, the first DARE class I had, the first time I was exposed to the entire notion, the entire idea of not doing drugs was in the 6th grade. And by then, I already knew kids in my class who were smoking.
Yeah, because you're 12 by then?
Yeah. I mean, these things need to happen earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with simply informing like, it's literally called chicken. It's called beef. It's called pork. Like, the kid knows what a chicken is. Like, any 2-year-old with a picture book can probably point out
and we've
a rooster
seen
and a
the
piggy.
videos, the little boy who... there are 2 videos. There's a little boy, and I think he's Brazilian, and he is telling his mother why he doesn't want to eat chicken or whatever meat is on his plate at the moment, and he's saying he loves animals. He's like what, 4? I don't know. He's like 4 years old. He gets it, and he was telling his mother why he doesn't want to eat the
was
chicken.
the chicken,
He
right?
made the connection. It almost seemed like he made it on his own too, because his mother, you could hear her voice, and at one point he asked her, why are you crying? Am I saying because I'm saying something good? And she was like, yes, yeah, and she was very encouraging, very accepting. She was like, you don't have to eat the meat, you don't have to, it's okay. And there was such a loving conversation versus this other video of this little boy who his mother was about to cut up a chicken for a stew or something. There was just like this whole raw chicken sitting on the countertop, and the little boy was literally, he had his hands on the raw chicken, and he kept begging his mom not to cut it up, not to cook it, he didn't want to eat it. And his mom sort of kept, I don't know if she was doing this for the sake of the video, but she kept trying to explain to him why she needed to. Like, she was saying the chicken is already dead. We eat chicken. We need to eat it. And the boy's like crying and sobbing.
She kept saying like, that's what we're having for supper. Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's already dead. I mean, what are we gonna do with it? I mean, the boy was like, we can't eat it. We just don't eat it. And he just didn't. It seemed like he didn't know how to express the why of why he didn't want to eat it. He just didn't want to eat it, and his mom sort of kept contradicting that, and I thought that was a really shitty thing to do. And a lot of people commented on that. They said, you know, what are you doing? Your child is telling you
exuding this empathy and
that you're completely shutting down. Yeah. So going back to the Facebook stuff.
Yes.
In the process of defriending, with the purpose of surrounding myself with the people that I do want to, you know, surround myself with, because everybody should, right? I mean, and if you don't like my vegan posts, because I post, that's all I'm doing right now. That's kind of where I'm at. If you don't like them, don't look at them. Hide me, defriend
unfollow.
Me. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I probably don't want that person in my life anyway. But in that process, is this my phone?
That's
Is this me? Oh. In the process, I also went and actively sought out other vegans, and on people. I have one huge animal rights activist friend, and I just went to her page and I combed through all her posts and anything. This is how I recruited people. The most violent, sad posts that got commented on, those are the people that I friended. Because I'm like, okay, you had the guts to watch that. You had the guts to say something and express how terrible this is, and we're on the same page. So I want you on my team. And now, thank goodness, because you kind of find yourself, at certain points, you find yourself in a very isolated place where you feel like you're the only person in the world who cares. And I didn't want to feel like that anymore. So here we go. Now I have we have a ton of new...
And by the way, that was totally my computer.
Oh, I see your computer. Okay.
I did not mean to throw you under the proverbial bus.
It's okay. Yeah. So kind of focusing on that, but also being very well aware of the fact that there are still people in my life who I really do care about and who are trying and who are relatively open-minded. And here's the thing. We have our Those Annoying Vegans Facebook page, and I have my personal page. And I was having this sort of conflict of, where do I kind of want to say this on both pages, but I shouldn't double post. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Well,
the thing
whatever.
is, those
we're
vegans
not
page,
like hiding our identities or anything.
No. Exactly.
We're definitely Marvel. We're not DC. Everyone knows our secret identities.
But the thing is, that's exactly my point. Is I am no different from we are we. Yeah, I am no different from the Anna on Those Annoying Vegans. If anything, this Anna is the Anna that I most truly am, and the people on my personal page are the people I feel like I have I need to spread that message to those people, versus the people on our Those Annoying Vegans page are the people who already know and accept and acknowledge and support.
Yeah,
so
we have not had any trolling.
No, not yet. But I go to that page to, when I feel like, shit, why is nobody listening? Why am I posting shit about my career and you're all fucking liking it? Like 22 little hearts when I post anything about booking a job, but the shit that really matters to me, nobody gives a shit. But I know why. I know why. It's all, there's a whole psychology behind why you guys comb through that shit. And you know what? Oh, you're gonna realize over time, you're just gonna see it everywhere. You won't be able to help it. So just get used to it.
Well, I said to you before, I think, sadly, and it's hard to get, like, for me, being a relatively new vegan, newer than you, although, we both switched at somewhat of a late age, but I feel awkward getting up on what I consider to be a high horse, but really that's neither here nor there. The point is that my opinion and my lifestyle and my thoughts on the matter before were wrong. The thoughts that I have now are right. I believe in them. You showed me that. You changed my life, literally. And
unintentionally, guys, I didn't hold a knife to his throat.
No.
Despite what many people might think, ever since he met Anna. I'm sure a lot of people are saying ever since he met Anna. But
yeah, but I mean, that's true, but it doesn't have to be a pejorative. Like, why does it have to be a pejorative or a negative? Like, ever since, you could say that about anything. Like,
yeah.
Ever since so-and-so met so-and-so, they've been doing that thing that they like doing. It's like, that's what people do.
That's what finding a good, supportive, loving partner does to you.
Well, yeah.
All of a sudden, you're on the same page. Magic.
I mean, it's not, I don't know why it has to be looked down upon, but I started talking about that as, sadly, I think that human beings, by their very nature, will only change their behavior or their activities or what have you when it is absolutely imperative,
or when it's directly impacting their immediate health.
Right, when there's no longer another viable option. Right. So I do believe, I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be in our 200 lifetime. Years, 500 years, 1,000 years, or 50 years. Who knows? Like, someday the world, and it's not just an American problem, it's global.
Yeah.
It is global. But someday the world will be forced to switch to a more plant-based diet because we will simply run out of land. We'll run out of room. Mm-hmm. There's only 30% of the planet that's covered with land. There's only so much land. And we keep bulldozing more and more of it every day to make room for cattle and pigs and chickens. And then we have to raise crops that we set aside. We don't eat these crops. We set these crops aside to feed to the cow, and then we kill the cow and then eat the cow. It's like, it's a horribly inefficient system.
Very inefficient. World hunger is happening right now because of our incredible obsession with meat.
Mm-hmm.
You see those videos, right? With the malnourished children across the ocean from us. Oh, that's terrible. That's so terrible. We'll do something about it. You know what you can do? You are holding it on your fork right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I keep saying. Is like, people wonder about why we need. That's the thing I did today. People wonder why hunger still exists. People wonder why people still kill each other. Why people trample all over each other for a TV on Black Friday. Why we need ads to remind us that rape is bad and that fathers should stay with their children. The one
I love those.
Yeah, that fathers should stay
with
their children.
To be a father or something.
Yeah.
It takes courage or bravery.
Yet all the while, you are choosing to put animal flesh on the end of your fork because you love how it tastes. Isn't that wonderful? And for some reason, we can't seem to solve the world's problems, because the one thing you do have a choice about that actually affects every other world issue is sitting on your plate.
It really is the easy. I mean, that's the one thing I really have come to absolutely adore about the veganism movement, the act of switching to a vegan diet. Mm. It's the ease and control that I have over the movement as an individual. Like, it's really hard to feel like you matter in a world full of 7 billion people, especially if you don't have a partner or a friend or a family or someone in your life that cares for you, supports you, that you can bounce ideas off of and feel that notion of self-worth. It's really hard to feel like you matter and you can make a difference. And with the veganism movement, it's very, very easy. It's like, I don't know what can be done about fossil fuels. I don't know what can be done about fracking. I don't know what can be done about the oil pipeline from Alaska down to, or the I don't know, the deforestation in Brazil, or there's so many.
Well, Brazil is one of the 3 top meat-eating countries in the world, so deforestation again
is primarily caused by cattle needing a place to put your cattle. But the point is like a lot of these causes that you want to solve, or a lot of these causes that your heart goes out to, like you can't physically adopt every single stray puppy in Los Angeles, or you can't, physically stop Enron or Exxon Mobil from pulling oil out of the Middle East and selling it to us. And it's really hard. But with veganism, you can. Every 3 times a day, 3 to 5 times. I'm not trying to tell you guys how many times a day to eat. But every time you eat, every time you order something in a restaurant, every time you buy something at the grocery store, you can make a choice. Mm-hmm. You can make a decision. Yeah. You're in control. Yeah. And your dollar counts. That's all businesses care about. That's all they care about.
Guess what? Hey, all the advertising, all the shit you see on TV, McDonald's and A1 sauce. I mean, not that A1 sauce has meat in it, but it's
meant to go on a steak.
It's meant to go on a steak. Like, why? Do you ever wonder why you don't see ads for
You're paying for those
tomatoes,
ads, by the way.
broccoli, asparagus? Why are we not seeing ads for, I think the closest thing I've seen to anything food-wise that's healthy is like the pistachio.
Yep.
The wonderful pistachios.
And sometimes avocados out here, because avocados are like a California thing.
Yeah, the local stuff.
Yeah.
But
Haas avocados.
I mean, do you ever wonder why? I mean, it's a low profit margin. Veggies don't make much money because unfortunately the people farming them aren't getting paid very well.
Well, they could become profitable if there's a demand for them. Right.
Yeah, if people bought them. But there is this
a
worldwide obsession with meat.
And dairy.
Yeah. And eggs.
And that's where but I mean, that's the other thing too, is that I'll go ahead and introduce this, the protein thing, right? Mm-hmm. We hear the protein thing all the time. Mm-hmm. From grown, well-educated, well-intended adults and from youngsters alike. Like, the whole spectrum is covered because the FDA and the American school system and every little piece of education
USDA.
About the food pyramid or anything you've ever heard about health, we have been convinced that the only way to obtain protein is through meat and dairy.
You put it so lightly. I'd say brainwashed.
Brainwashed.
We have been brainwashed.
So we hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So you get where do you get your protein? 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 Any person who's a vegetarian or a vegan will tell you when that comes up. That's the most commonly asked question. Because I don't think people are being mean, and I don't think people are being dumb. I think that people are so uneducated and literally ignorant, not ignorant in a pejorative. I mean the literal definition of the word ignorant, meaning without knowledge. Mm-hmm. They do not have the knowledge that there are plenty of vegetables and fruits and beans and legumes and anything else that is very, very protein rich. And not only that, here's the way I put it or the way I've started thinking about it. Like, because of Gary Yourofsky, who we will talk about in a second, as he puts it, you're filtering your nutrients through another living creature. Mm-hmm. So the cows and the pigs and the chickens, they eat vegetables. They're all vegans. They're all vegetarians.
Even though they're not necessarily getting fed vegetables.
Right.
It's not very profitable.
Right. But assuming you had like a natural, I don't know, grass-fed, free-range animal that would be out there eating grass. We feed the cows corn, for example. They get a lot of corn-based stuff. But I'm saying you have these animals that we know for a fact are herbivores. They're vegetarians. We know that because people argue with us all the time about like whether or not human beings are natural herbivores, right? Mm-hmm. And then we eat the animal. So if this cow is so full of protein, how is it getting the protein? Like, the cow eats a vegetarian diet. Like, no one thinks about this shit.
I know.
Like the pigs and the cows and the chickens, if they're so chock full of protein, how the fuck did they get the protein?
I mean,
You're filtering your protein through another. I mean, or you are getting the protein from the muscle fibers of the animal, but the animal got the protein from the vegetables in the first place.
absolutely.
So
great point.
you can get protein the same way that apes get protein, that cows get protein, that chickens get protein, that any other creature gets protein. There is protein in vegetables.
There's protein everywhere.
And it's all the same. It doesn't matter. It's the same with sugar, like how your body will process sugar, no matter what type of sugar, whether it's white bread, which is carbohydrate, which is essentially sugar, or it's an ice cream cone, which is full of sugar. Your body doesn't discriminate against types of sugar.
Right.
It just processes the sugar. And protein's the same way.
Because your body has no choice, by the way. I mean, you put something in it, and it's got to figure out what to do with it. And to that point, Gary Yourofsky does explain why meat protein is actually extremely harmful to our bodies. People don't see, that's the thing. Have some compassion for your organs. Like I said last time, just because you don't see them, just because you feel okay, doesn't mean that your body isn't so. I mean, you might see it in different ways. That's why acne happens. That's why you're fatigued during the day. That's why you're moody. I don't know. Different people exhibit side effects in different ways. Headaches, stomach aches, I don't know, diarrhea.
Well, anyone can tell you that after a meat-based meal, you just feel sluggish.
Yeah, because your body, this is what happens. This is what I learned. When you ingest animal protein. Hold on, Gracie.
Me.
Oh, perfect timing. Hold on, give me 1 sec. When you ingest animal protein, your blood, it becomes instantly acidified, and it needs to find a way to neutralize. So it needs phosphate to do that. And what is the only source of phosphate in your body? Calcium phosphate. Where does calcium phosphate come from? Your bones. Why are we seeing such high levels of osteoporosis in the countries that have the highest volume of meat?
Right.
What am I saying? Sales. Consuming.
Consuming, yeah. We consume the most meat and dairy. Dairy, we're told, has plenty of calcium, good for strong bones, right?
Oh, right. It makes holes in your bones, guys.
Right.
Because it's drawing from your bones. And I mean, my mom is actually currently going, and she I don't remember her ever being uber passionate about meat or dairy. We grew up eating it like what we would maybe call in normal amounts.
Yeah.
Maybe like a meal.
Weren't overly infatuated with steak and stuff like that, yeah.
Like, she wasn't like having a glass of milk every. Although with your cereal, you kind of overlook that. You sort of forget about it. You have your cereal every morning. You put milk in it every morning or every other morning. And she is actually starting to, experience issues with bone density. So, I've shared with her all this information, and she's actually, I believe she's cut out milk completely, and minimal cheese, because high cholesterol runs in our family. I had a cholesterol level of over 200 when I was 12. 12! I mean, this is genetic, what people say, genetically high cholesterol, which I do believe. I guess some people have a higher tendency of inheriting but at the same time, I do remember when we moved to the United States, we were eating all the shit food that we saw advertised in our country that we didn't really have the money to buy.
Right.
But those things were pastaroni and the Kraft mac and cheese and the Lucky Charms marshmallow, whatever.
You said the cereal was an exciting thing.
Yeah, I was excited to have cereal with marshmallows because that shit was kind of pricey in our country. But yeah, so when we moved here, I guess my cholesterol levels shot up, and we had to go to a nutritionist. And what's funny, I do remember that meeting, and there were things like low-fat yogurt and low-fat cheese and low-fat this and that. And I mean, lean meats.
Yeah.
And my cholesterol never went down. until I stopped eating meat. It dropped to 177, and I hadn't even stopped eating cheese then. I just stopped cheese
just the meat, right?
completely. I am excited to find out where those levels are at right now.
Well, yeah. Because I know this is another thing that we learned, as Gary Yourofsky said, is that if you eliminate meat and dairy from your diet, you will no longer be ingesting cholesterol. Mm-hmm. You will no longer be adding to your body's naturally occurring levels of cholesterol.
But your body makes it already. You don't need to add to it. You will not be
adding on to it. And there's no way. You can't. That's where cholesterol comes from, is from animal products.
I saw recently this incredible article. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I saw this article. Somebody's trying to convince us out there that cholesterol is actually good for you and not the cause of heart disease. Mm-hmm. I'm like, are you kidding? Yep. Like that. Oh my God.
In the same way that the fossil fuel industry is not responsible for global climate change.
Not at all. No, responsibility is not lie.
That's not what it is. Actually, that's not what it is. That's the funny thing, is that they're kind of right. Is that actually the millions upon millions upon millions of artificially created cows, chickens, and pigs, they emit more methane and CO2 into the atmosphere than all of the world's cars combined.
Cars, boats, planes.
Yeah, cars, boats, airplanes, trains, yeah. So they're kind of right.
These are facts, by the way, guys. We're not just throwing shit
I'm just not making shit up. This is those annoying vegans. We just make shit up.
Yeah, no.
I'm telling it to you guys.
This is what I do now.
No.
I have, thank God, I have now the ability to spend most of my days researching. I work. I do work. But, I love my job. My job is the sort of job where you don't really spend too much time doing it and still make a living.
Yeah.
So now I can focus on what I actually came to this earth to do. So I read a lot. I read every day. And I read both sides because I want to know, you kind of have to, because you want to understand how the other side thinks or why the arguments are presented the way they are. Yeah. It doesn't help to just be one-sided in any situation.
I do that with politics all the time.
Yeah.
I like watching Fox television shows to get the other side's point of view, to get the other opinion, to see what it is, what is the appeal of the other side. Otherwise, it's not a very well-balanced. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. I want people to challenge me. I want people to question me, and I want to be challenged and be questioned and sort of ask these things. Hello, Gracie. Come. I hate this word, discussion. I hate that word.
People tend
because
to be
people
afraid
use it when they don't mean discussion.
Yeah.
I don't like that word. Mm-hmm. It used to be my old least favorite word was offended, because that was being overused. People, I was offended at this. I'm offended at that. This offended me. I was offended. People are using this offended word all the time for everything.
Yeah.
It went in situations where it absolutely, totally did not apply. And now I feel like we're doing that with conversation.
Yeah.
Every fucking leftist, everyone on the far left and everyone on the far right, keeps using that word. We need to have an honest discussion about blank. And what that means is I want to run my mouth. I want to hear my opinion, and I don't want to hear anything you have to say, which is literally the opposite of a discussion.
Yeah.
But the discussion that I would like to have is one that is engaging and one that is challenging. And so to your point, I do like hearing from both sides.
Yeah.
Because
in an educated fashion. I mean, look,
course.
I know I sound a little bit more, I guess I'm sounding... The way I sound right now is kind of pretty hard, there's a lot of frustration and anger and sadness that comes along with trying to do something that is right, but other people can't see yet. But I have been, my goal this past week in joining these discussions, these forums, has been to sort of take the route of compassion for human beings as well, which is really hard for me to do because I am like, you're the fucking problem. And I've actually thought, well, you know what? If I get angry and preachy and all that stuff, then I'm just gonna be one of them because this guy on this forum this past week, I don't know if you guys read about it. There was an incident where a cow, I believe this was in the UK, where a cow escaped a slaughter truck, a truck that was on the way to the slaughterhouse. This poor cow happened to run into a grocery store, just freaked out, scared for his life. And what happened to the cow? He got shot to death, ironically, near the meat and dairy section of the grocery store. And this one guy on this forum was so, oh my God, he was just completely going on this rant, not making sense, saying, what do you fucking moron? Like, he was using harsh words. He was calling people stupid fucking morons. He's like, humans are more important than animals. The children would have been, could have been killed. This is a bull running for its life. And first of all, the store had been cleared of people. There are such things as tranquilizer guns. There are options. People have been known to tranquilize mountain lions and bears in people's backyards before. I'm sure you could have done it with the bull. But no, this was the quickest, most efficient option. So the poor bull got shot, and it was this whole thing all over the vegan news, of course. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this guy was just going off on people, and I'm like, you know what? You don't care about humans at all. In fact, you don't really care about anything much, because if you really, really did, you wouldn't be calling everybody a fucking moron or stupid. You wouldn't even be on this page. Why are you on this page? That's the thing that gets me, is like, people are like, oh, how can you tell when someone's a vegan? Oh, because they're always ready to talk about it or something. That's the first thing they talk about.
They'll tell you. Yeah.
They'll tell you. Well, guess what? Meat eaters, you guys spend quite a bit of time on those vegan forums trying to defend your beliefs, trying to justify your choices.
It's a lot to get mad about.
Yeah, it's a lot to get mad about
if it really doesn't bother you.
Exactly. You could be spending your day doing anything else, but there you are, trying to, shit on everybody's good hearts.
Right.
So, but instead of being like, you, sir, are a fucking moron ×2, I was like, and I got quite a bit of support. I'm still getting notifications for, like, someone liked my comments. I think I have like 25 likes here. Okay. Yeah, this is as soon as my starts working again. Yeah, because this was in a direct response to that guy's comment. Why can't I? Oh, there we go.
Uh-oh, there it is.
Yeah. So I said, Dylan, you know how, when someone's not a vegan, they spend hours on vegan forums. 15 likes. Yep, I feel proud about that. Another point I wanted to make is, speaking of, like, all these arguments that meat eaters pose, one of the other common ones is, not arguments, but sort of,
justifications.
Yeah, but also there are three types of, there are arguments, there are justifications, and there are attempts to insult. And one of those is, oh, vegans, you think you're better than us? You think you're better than everyone else? Well, you're not. And I'm like, well, thanks for the compliment, because that's actually the spirit of veganism. We don't think we're better than everyone else. We don't think we're better than animals. That's why we don't eat them.
Right.
So this guy, Jamie on this site, like, said something, I don't know, what was it? I can find it again. He took his comment down because it was literally right above mine.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but he said something to the extent of, well, you guys still wear,
Leather.
clothes made by children in China or things like
okay.
that. That whole thing that you said last time.
Yeah.
And I said, Jamie, first of all,
Yeah. Stay on target. Stay on target.
Yeah, but
Gold
also,
5.
but also, vegans make it a point, I think more than anyone else, to be aware of the footprint and harm that we cause to the planet, the animals, and the people in it. Because in caring for this cause, we're actually caring for the people of this planet, you know? This planet belongs to all of us. We believe that all living beings are equal and deserve equal protection from the abuse of those in power. We aren't perfect, but my motto is we do what we can, where we can, to cause the least amount of harm possible.
Right.
So
that's a frequent occurrence in when in discussions with people about being vegan, and it's usually not information that I offer. I don't even know if, aside from like my 4 closest people that I work directly with every day because I'm like forced to work directly with them, I don't really know who else knows my eating habits. Like it's not information that I offer up.
Well, because
readily.
the second you do,
because who cares really? Like meat eaters don't, like offer that up. It's just since we live in the United States, it is assumed that you eat meat unless you specify otherwise.
Yeah, but they do offer up that information
Yes.
often very readily.
And so what I've noticed is that in discussions about that, what'll happen is that the conversation will quickly get sidelined to a sidetracked issue, like a as Gary Yourofsky puts it, a 2% problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like 98% of the animals that are killed for meat and dairy and eggs. Mm-hmm. If you want to, I kind of include that in with the meat and the dairy. So that's where the problem is. Our animal, sure, people have leather jackets and leather shoes and leather belts and people wear silk shirts and, like there are other places where animal products are used, makeup testing, for example, and circuses and the Sea Worlds of the world, which they're actually, removing more and more from their activities. But it's like the problem, the main problem is the eating of the animals and the dairy.
Yeah,
that is the problem.
Because people try to hand off the responsibility to someone else. Like our movie we watched the other day, Eye in the Sky.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's always trying to look for someone else responsible. Whoever else is... Who do we need to talk to make this happen?
Because we've gotten that before where they're like, well, you still drive a gasoline car on paved roads in the United States. You're still part of the problem. It's like, okay, no, you don't get it. Because I can't choose not to drive, like...
I can have an electric car.
You can.
Here's the thing.
If you have the money to buy one.
Yeah, if you have the money to buy one, but you...
Or you can
could,
abstain from driving.
That's still not an excuse. You could choose to have the money to buy an electric car if that's, that's a thing that... The thing is, though, the way I see it is we are doing everything we can, and the more we learn, the more we try to do. And yes, when I do have the money to buy an electric car or lease an electric car, I will, because why not? It is the best option for the planet. It's just that at this moment, there's only so much I can do. Like like I said, nobody's perfect. The best I can do is focus on the things that I do every day, such as, what I buy in stores, make sure my makeup is cruelty-free. Like yesterday, we had our engagement photos taken yesterday, and I asked, it was funny because I don't know why, I need to get better at this. I sort of shied away from the direct question when the makeup artist was showing me, the products that she had used on me, and I was like, oh, I actually really like this palette. but is it and I was like looking at the back of the carton to see if I could see the little
official verbiage.
Yeah, but I was looking for the little bunny ears. You know, the little bunny ears are cruelty free. You know something's cruelty free when you see that logo. And she was sort of completed the sentence for me. She was like, "Oh, cruelty free?" And I was like, "Yes." Yes, exactly. And she's like, "Oh yeah, all of Too Faced products are cruelty free. They just can't afford the logo." Can you believe that? Buying the bunny ear logo to tell the world that your product is cruelty free actually costs a lot of money, and some companies can't afford it. Like Tarte can't afford it. They choose to put it on there, but Too Faced sort of operates on word of mouth. And it turns out that a lot of the major cosmetic companies that are internationally sold, such as Estee Lauder, what are some other ones? I don't buy shit, and I'm not shopping and buying makeup all the time, so I don't. But you know those international brands, Maybelline, CoverGirl.
Oh,
Jesus
CoverGirl.
Christ,
Yeah.
I'm really behind in the times. Those companies, if they're sold internationally, she told me that they are forced to go through China. They are forced to run their products through animal experimentation in China. And therefore, maybe we should buy U.S.-made products.
Your dollar counts.
Yeah. There is plenty out there. And I have to do more research about that, because I couldn't believe I was like, why in the world does a bunny logo cost so much money, yet there is no such warning label on any product telling you that that product was tested on animals.
Right. There's only a warning for the negative, not for the...
Right.
Or not negative. I mean, in this case, not being tested on animals is actually a positive, but there's no label for...
Yeah, you'll never see a label on
opposite.
your chicken legs that say this chicken was tortured and
kept in a cage.
Kept in a cage
its whole
most of
life.
its life, hung upside down, throat slit. And its babies, the males were ground up and the females went back into the cages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you're not going to see that on your labels, because guess what?
They don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know.
Because if you know these things, Anna, you're probably not going to buy their products, silly.
I know.
Silly.
I know, but you know what? It's so good. It's so good.
I mean, bacon, am I right?
I can't even.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Bacon.
Bacon. Oh my God, bacon. I can't.
Bacon. It's so good.
It's delicious.
After having like veggie strips and tempeh and all the other bacon substitutes, bacon bits, guys, bacon bits.
Bacon bits are vegan.
Bacos, they're vegan.
They taste like bacon. Put them on your everything.
You can have your precious bacon flavor in a vegan format. It's super simple.
Because guess what? Bacon doesn't taste like bacon.
Doesn't taste like bacon.
It tastes like the seasonings. It tastes like the maple
and the
honey
brown sugar and the glaze
all
and
the shit that you
the pepper, the peppered thick cut steak. What you're tasting, is pepper.
Yeah. Because if you ate meat without anything on it, God, that shit would taste like dead meat, like dead flesh. Yeah, because that's what it is.
Like the ham, the honey cured ham.
Yeah.
Like, what are you tasting? Honey.
Yeah.
Which is also not vegan. I'm not advocating for honey, but it's
honey's not vegan. Palm oil at this moment is palm oil does not come from an animal, but it is incredibly affecting our forests and our primate friends. So we are not buying anything with palm oil in it. When something has an impact on the animal, on any animal, on
mm-hmm.
my train of thought. On any animal, on the environment, we just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Because why, we can make our own Nutella.
Yeah, I was going to say, which excludes Nutella, but I think we're going to try to make our own hazelnut spread.
Right.
As one of our recipes on the Those Annoying Vegans page.
Yeah.
I think we can make Nutella without palm oil.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it can be done.
I want to wanted to bring up a couple other things. We have maybe 10 minutes to go. Gary Yourofsky, thank you.
Gary Yourofsky.
If you ever hear this, thank you. Thank you. You have no idea how much your words, feed my thirst for...
He's a really, really inspiring person.
He's possibly the best.
He's an engaging, inspiring...
orator on the topic. He is
motivating person.
Extremely smart. The way he presents ideas, the way he when he interviews, and some of these reporters are really...
They're ready with the gotcha material. Like, they're really ready to try to trap him in some sort of...
Sometimes I feel like it really comes out of them personally. Like, how, aren't reporters sort of supposed to be a little bit neutral on topics? Well, they're not. Not on the meat topics.
Well, like, possibly his most famous one in the Middle East and Israel with that reporter. She definitely was trying some, like, gotcha tactics.
Oh, yeah, but he got her back. He got her back.
It doesn't work, really.
And he never raises his voice. He's always just so very calm. He's the epitome of, he's like the animal rights activist of our century.
Yeah.
He's that person.
As
an activist, you want to inspire compassion and love on all facets.
Yeah.
Including with people.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do that. I'm still very far away.
And I think inspire to me is a very, very, it's a word that I put up on a high pedestal. Yeah. Because when you're inspired to do things by your heroes or your idols, the people that made you want to be the person that you are, that's a really, really powerful emotion. And it's a very, very moving one that actually has the possibility to change the world, as Bill Nye would say.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot change the world without inspiration. It cannot simply be moved to change without some form, without some spark, without some excitement. Like, energy cannot be, created or destroyed. It changes. It changes.
It shifts.
And you need that sort of... You need that inspiration, and Gary provides it.
Yeah. He has some really good videos out there, people, so check them out. There are a couple of really good points he's made. I mean, I just want to bring a couple of them up. We probably won't have time to go through all of them, but one of the things that struck me about the things he has said, I guess looping back, he said... Family and friends are the hardest to convince. Don't waste your time on them. Luckily,
it's true.
We seem to have a few very open-minded friends, and they're giving it a shot. So yay! I mean, they'll see the benefits. But I don't really talk to my family about it. I don't really ask or present ideas openly and readily to them. I think. And friends in general, as we've discussed on social media, tend to ignore or just generally be unsupportive, and that's okay, because you're, like he said, you're not our audience. Our audience are the people who want to listen, and eventually you'll find that you're more likely to convince a stranger than your own family and friends.
Because you have to be open and at least open to hearing.
It's an ego thing.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing. And he has this really interesting... I wanted to bring this up because this has been something I've been really mulling over lately. Because, there have been a few times where we've been to social gatherings where the whole meat eating thing... or not meat eating thing has been thrown in our faces in very sort of abrupt, unexpected ways. And Gary Yourofsky actually said something really interesting. He said he won't have lunch or dinner or breakfast, whatever, with a friend unless they're going to eat vegan. And I was like, oh. He's like, well, if they're not going to eat vegan, then I'm not going to have lunch with them. If you want to eat with me, you're going to eat vegan.
Right.
And I was like,
After so many bad experiences of
Yeah.
people,
stuffing meat in his face and calling him out, and just making ruckus, unnecessary ruckus.
Just the little comments here and there. Are you going to be bothered if I...
Yeah.
No. I mean, yes, but
Yeah,
no.
but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut anyway, kind of thing. Yeah, those little, and they come, they're very frequent, and they're getting too frequent. And it's almost like, well, at first I was like, well, I don't want to lose friends on account of this, or I don't want to be completely antisocial because everybody we know eats meat. Everybody's having barbecues and everybody. But you know what? If I'm really looking deep within, and I really want to fully support the cause that I stand for, I shouldn't be sharing my table where I am having my vegetables with people who are eating it's like we're just try and picture for a second, because people seem to have more compassion and understanding when it comes to children for some reason, or humans.
Yeah.
Just pretend it's the flesh of a child. And I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you understand it? I mean, if you see that an animal is like a child to me. An animal it has the same exact the love, the innocence, the helplessness. Just pretend
they're certainly capable of feeling everything that we feel.
Right.
Why do we think that it's so? I mean, we connect probably most readily with apes because they're the closest to us. They mimic our, like our facial expressions and body gestures are close. Have you ever seen anything Jane Goodall's ever done? But with cats and dogs, when they're happy, when they're sad.
So pretend it's a cat or a dog or a rabbit. I mean, I don't know. Some people eat rabbit. I think it's awful. Or an infant. Same thing. Why should I be sharing my table or your table? I mean, why should I go eat at your table if there's just meat lying everywhere? Why? Because that's offensive to me. I mean, You're literally blatantly doing something that is contributing to the destruction of life out there because you feel entitled to take that away from something else that needs it.
Yeah.
We all need life. We all want life. Why do you need it? No, like I said to my friend online today, I was like, yeah, you're right. Like we were discussing this. She was like, my children don't eat meat, and I get shit all the time about all the protein, blah, blah, blah. And we were just having this discussion, and I was like, yeah, it's silly. It's silly that people feel entitled to take life away for 5 minutes of palatable pleasure. You're gonna shit it out at the end of the day. You're shitting out life. You took that life.
Yeah, your comment on that.
Don't tell me you didn't, because you didn't take it. You had someone take it for you because you're buying the product.
Right. And the way you phrased that actually hit me pretty hard today.
You want me to look for the exact quote?
No, I mean,
no,
you can, but if you follow Anna on Facebook or follow us, Those Annoying Vegans, you can find it, I'm sure. Yeah. You said the thing about basically consuming and shitting out the life that you felt free to take, or something like that. It was very, the way you phrased it was very poignant.
Oh, thank you.
And very effective.
I will find it now because I feel special.
Yeah, find it. That's right.
Yeah, I think it is right here. It was one of my long ass responses.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So why, despite all the studies and footage of the atrocities that happened behind the scenes so that people can have their 5-minute fix and shit out the life they felt entitled to take, why are some still choosing to wear blinders?
It's true.
I don't know.
It's true. I did it for years.
I did it for years.
People continue to do it today.
The difference is knowing that you're doing it and stopping.
Really, the difference is that cows, chickens, and pigs don't speak American English.
Yeah.
We do this thing.
They scream and
they scream and they howl and they moo and they chirp and
writhe in pain and nobody gives a shit.
they
Not
express
nobody,
their emotions in the same way that your dog would express an emotion, that your cat would express an emotion, that your child who doesn't speak English yet would express an, or Spanish or French or Russian, whatever your language is that when you have an infant baby, don't you kind of understand what it's feeling?
Mm-hmm.
When the baby is upset, when the baby is playful, when the baby is laughing, when the baby is sad,
Mm-hmm.
when the baby is hungry. You know these things even though the baby is not speaking in your native language. And we know that instinctively with animals because we praise everything from Cecil the lion to Blackfish, the SeaWorld stuff, with dolphins that get caught in tuna nets.
Yeah.
And
the cow that makes it out of the slaughterhouse and
Right.
makes it to safety. We cheer for them. We cheer for all of them.
yeah,
But
Michael Vick gets arrested for pitting dogs against one another, and we wag our fingers at all of these people because why? Because of the poor animals.
yeah.
But we have factories full of these same animals.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, and it might bother a lot of people, but it is a repetition, a replica of the Holocaust.
Yeah, that's something that,
And it's been going around a lot lately, I think, because of the recent Passover.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I didn't grow up Jewish, or I'm not Jewish at all, but
Yeah.
or anything really. I'm spiritual, but we just had a Passover, and there's been a lot of stuff going around about how
Well, people get very sensitive about it because you're comparing
humans to animals, and people are like,
you're comparing persecution of a direct, like, these people were rounded up and stripped of their identity and murdered in droves by the millions.
gassed, killed in violent ways, discriminated against because of disabilities, because of the way they looked, because they spoke
and
differently and
we
believed.
still feel the reverberations of it today.
Yeah.
And yet
We are doing exactly the same thing to animals. There was once a time, people, where there was a huge majority of the population who didn't give a shit about Jews. And this was like an entire...
Well, there was also a time when the majority of Americans didn't give a shit about black people or women or gay people.
Yeah.
Or name your subset of human being, because we're human beings. That's what we are. That's what all of us are. We have way more in common than we have differences.
Yeah.
And we've seen it time and time again against our own species.
Yeah.
Where this group or that group is persecuted or discriminated against or not treated equally, or insert your atrocity here.
Right. If we can't do it with animals, guys, we can't do it with each other. If you want compassion in this world, start on what you eat
fork?
on your fork.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
It's
so
totally
easy.
within your control 3 times a day.
Yeah. And then maybe we can solve world hunger. We can solve the world's wars, or not solve, but better. I don't know. We can make this whole place better for everybody. And, that's why I get frustrated. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not being too... I am. And
you have to apologize. It's our podcast.
It's our podcast, and we do what we want. But, I think
Miley Cyrus is a vegan, right?
Yeah, she is vegan, and so is Kat Von D, because I remember that because they took a picture with each other together at this, I think there's a vegan event. So many. Hey, just before we finish this, because we're almost there, we're past, but
we got no limits.
Have you guys wondered why all these actors are these huge human rights, animal rights activists all of a sudden? I personally believe, now being in sort of the I'm an actor, and that's what I do.
As am I.
Yeah, as are you. I sort of feel like these people were already came with this incredible passion for something, And I feel like passion drives you. Passion drives you. It drives you. It makes you better with people. It makes you better with your surroundings. It makes you at one with your environment, your atmosphere. And therefore, these people became successful via many various different means. And when they became successful, they took that opportunity to do what they came to this earth to do. Leonardo DiCaprio is a huge, huge animal rights activist. I love him. So many other people. Jon Stewart now. I mean, Jon Stewart and...
Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert.
And Stephen Colbert.
They have a documentary coming out.
Yep, they are huge animal rights activists. These people are taking the opportunity. The shows you watch, guys, thank you. You are supporting animal rights as well.
Yeah.
By watching those shows. Because
Ricky Gervais as well, right?
Ricky Gervais. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you. Against bullfighting and so many other things. But yeah, these people are taking the opportunity to speak out against.
They're using their power
Uh-huh.
for a responsible means.
Yes.
Because with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Yeah. Shall we end here? There's so much
Sure,
more to
my
say.
angel.
I wanted to say more about the Mother's Day because, our beautiful, our cows. But we will leave that for next
happy
time.
Mother's Day to all mothers.
To all mothers.
Uh-huh.
And I'll talk about that at another time.
Do you want to go into it now or
No.
save it for next time?
Yeah, save it for next time.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Well, kids and kittens, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, I'm Brian.
And I'm Anna.
We are
Those
Annoying Vegans.